page 80.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's my great pleasure to introduce this morning Pravrajika Prabuddhaprana. She is a senior nun of Sarada Math who joined in 1976, has been in our headquarters more or less the whole time of her monastic life. With many visits, she's come to our center many times. So most of you know her. She's traveled to Europe many times, mostly very often to do research for the many books that she's written. She's made a great literary contribution to the order, many books about some of the very important female figures, also that Josephine MacLeod and Cerebral and others. So we're very, very happy that she's here to speak to us this morning. Her topic is Sri Ramakrishna's particular penchant. And many of you know that before either of us joined, we were classmates in college and good friends. So I'm especially happy when she comes to join us. Okay, Mataji.
I want to thank you for inviting me on this very special occasion of the Jubilee of the Center, and that the Center may grow and prosper in the future, that Sri Ramakrishna's teachings may be imbibed by many more people. Now, I have a question. And my question, whether it should be answered or not, I'm not sure. Now, we are not supposed to ask so many questions of God. I understand that. Job asked God in the Bible why the good suffer and the wicked prosper. And God only told him, "Where were you when I created the heavens and the earth?" Finished. Then at Shampukur, when Sri Ramakrishna was there, one devotee asked him, this Sham Basu asked Sri Ramakrishna, if God does everything, he is the doer, then why should men have to suffer for their sins? Sri Ramakrishna said, well, if you should not be so calculating. You came here to the garden to eat mangoes. Eat the mangoes and be happy. Don't ask so many calculating questions. So this is my question. Whether I can answer it or not, you decide. Sri Ramakrishna knew and took much trouble to meet many noble personalities of his time. He certainly did not need to run after people to verify his state, his spiritual qualities or anything. But Sri Ramakrishna would go uninvited to seek them out. He would go to Devendranath Tagore, Shashadhar Thakur Chudamani, Bhagavan Das Babarji, Keshav Chandra Sen, Vijay Krishna Goswami, Vidyasagar, and so many other pandits you find in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He would not seek them out of curiosity. Certainly he had a mission. Sri Ramakrishna gave a new direction to history. During his time, the Brahmo sect was prominent among the middle class. The Brahmo Samaj was a reaction to the ritualism of oppressive priests. The Brahmos stemmed the tide of Christian missionaries and their conversions, but they threw out the baby with the bathwater. They disregarded the symbols of divinity, images and goddesses and gods. Sri Ramakrishna brought them back into the broad spectrum of the spiritual tradition of Hinduism. Several Brahmo teachers and preachers were among the most influential men. Keshav Chandra Sen was the most revered person among educated Indians. He had gained audience with the Queen of England. He was considered a great orator and attracted many disciples. Sri Ramakrishna's, Sri Sarada Math's second president, Pravrajika Prabuddhaprana Mataji, had told us that her father had met Sri Ramakrishna. He was in school at the time, and Sri Ramakrishna came to their school. Well, the father went and made pranam to Sri Ramakrishna. Shraddha asked her father then, "Why did you not become a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna? Weren't you attracted to him, to follow him?" And the father answered, "Oh, but Keshab was so attractive to us. He had such charisma. We couldn't think of going to anyone else." Keshav Chandra Sen was a great orator, they say by divine right. He spoke in wonderful images and great oratory that people were just charmed by him. Keshav's lectures were full of poetic imagery. Sri Ramakrishna once, when he went to hear one of Keshav's lectures, Keshav was saying, "Oh, the lotus of bhakti, full blown on the ocean of the bliss of Brahman," and he was going on like that. Sri Ramakrishna cut him short. He said, "Keshav, that's nonsense. You know very well that lotuses bloom not on the ocean, but in the murky waters of the pond." Sri Ramakrishna's own similes and metaphors were perfect because he had a keen observation of nature, but he wouldn't let Keshav get away with this. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that God is displeased if we don't show honor to those people who are deserving of respect. One day, Sri Ramakrishna heard of Padmalochan, Tarka Lankar. Padmalochan was very interesting to me, of all the pundits that Sri Ramakrishna met. One day, when he heard about him, he wanted to meet him because he was a Brahmin from Bardhaman and had spent many years in Varanasi studying the Vedanta, and before that, many years more studying the Nyaya philosophy. Earlier, he had a position. Now he was old, but earlier he had a most prestigious position of being the chief court pandit of the Maharaja of Bardhaman. Now, his greatness was legendary. And when Sri Ramakrishna came to know about him, he told Mathur Babu, his supporter, he told him that he wanted to meet Padmalochan and that he should arrange for him to go to Bardhaman. So before Mathur Babu could do that, Sri Ramakrishna got a message from the Divine Mother herself saying that Padmalochan was coming to Calcutta within the next 10 days. So Sri Ramakrishna awaited for him in Calcutta. And when he came, Mathur Babu found out, and he told Sri Ramakrishna, now he has come. And Sri Ramakrishna sent his nephew Hriday as a scout to find out if the Pandit would be willing to meet him. So Hriday went to see the Pandit, and he came back with the message that, no, the Pandit is really a humble man. He's not egotistic. He would be very happy to meet you. So Sri Ramakrishna decided to go the very next day. Well, he went, and here comes a cough. And he went straight to his room without even announcing himself. That time, Padmalochan was staying in a garden house not far from Dakshineshwar. So Sri Ramakrishna could go there by boat, just maybe less than a mile from the Dakshineshwar Kali temple. Excuse me. Because the Pandit was not well, he was old, he was lying in bed. So when Sri Ramakrishna burst into his room, he was startled. But when he saw him, he suddenly jumped up out of the bed and stood with folded hands. He said, "Oh, what do I see before me? There is the frame of a human being with Mother Kali, beautiful Mother Kali inside." Excuse me, it's allergy season. So the Pandit was there, standing before Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna started to sing to him. He sang a song about Mother Kali. Just take one of these. No, I have, thank you. So he sang that song. Who is there who can understand what Mother Kali is? Even the 6 darshanas cannot reveal her. The song goes on about the description of Mother Kali in a philosophical way. Then after that song, Sri Ramakrishna was inspired to sing another song, and then yet another song. And the Pandit happened to be a devotee of Mother Kali. She was his chosen ideal also. So tears began to come from the Pandit's eyes. He was so moved to see Sri Ramakrishna's glowing face, and as Sri Ramakrishna sang, he went into samadhi. So the Pandit exclaimed, "Oh, what is this state? I have never seen this before. What a sight." The scriptures describe such a state, but it is impossible to understand. And he showed his students, you see before you the demonstration of the scriptures. You cannot understand by reading all the scriptures. You are seeing just before you. So the Pandit said to Hridai, who was standing near, "Oh, you see, I'm shedding tears. I never shed tears, and what is happening to me?" And he just fell at Sri Ramakrishna's feet, and Hridai said, "Oh, many people, many Pandits have seen him, and exclaimed that he is an incarnation of God. What do you think?" So the Pandit said, "What, an incarnation? That's trivial. An incarnation, he is one who creates incarnations. And he could make 1,000,000 fools like me into Pandits like me." And then they began to have a conversation. Sri Ramakrishna came down from his samadhi, and they began to have a conversation. And Sri Ramakrishna later said, I never enjoyed such conversation with anyone else as I did with Padmalochan. He said, how blessed my life is, and what a great fortune this is. What Sri Ramakrishna is demonstrating before all of you, my students, you could never understand otherwise. Not by reading a million texts of scriptures, and I see what he has accomplished without reading a single scripture. I could not accomplish by reading a whole room full of them. So Padmalochan engaged in that conversation with Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was very charmed by this Pandit, who was really very humble, and he said to him, why, you are the court Pandit of the Maharaja of Bardwan, and yet you are showing me so much honor. And this court Pandit was so taken by Sri Ramakrishna that he wanted to have him verify many of his arguments that he had prepared for other discussions and debates with other Pandits in the future. So he would try to make Sri Ramakrishna listen to his points of discussion and verify whether they were correct or not. So this went on, and the Pandit often would send his son to Sri Ramakrishna and invite him to come and discuss philosophy with him. And Sri Ramakrishna went to that garden house many times. The interesting thing is that garden house was very near the Kali temple. It was one of the, it is still there, one of the largest of the garden houses, these mansions that dot along the Ganga. And the name of this estate is called Suraduni Kanan. There is a ghat on the Ganga from that, in front of that mansion, and where Padmalochan stayed, and on it is written Suraduni Kanan, meaning the heavenly garden on the bank of the Ganga. And that building is very familiar to me, because Sri Sarada Math was started in that very place that is now the headquarters of Sri Sarada Math, that Suraduni Kanan. So that estate is just next to the Dev Mandal Ghat, where the Bhairavi Brahmani, Sri Ramakrishna's tantric guru, stayed, and there was a smashan there, a cremation ground there, and still that smashan, that Shiva temple is there, so Sri Ramakrishna visited that place many times. And so it's very interesting that when the trustees of the Belur Math were going to start the Sarada Math, they helped the Sarada Math to start, that is, in 1954, the centenary of the Holy Mother, they came along the Ganga to select a place where they could start it, to find some estate. And because this estate was large and in a beautiful place. It had a ghat on the Ganga. And the mansion was quite large compared to the other mansions nearby. So they selected this place without knowing that time that Sri Ramakrishna had been there many, many times. This Padmalochan, apparently he had some psychic, or what you call occult powers. And he had a technique by which he could defeat all his opponents in debate. And that technique was taught to him by Mother Kali. He would put on his shoulder a gamcha, an ordinary cotton towel, and carry a kamandalu, a water pot. And he would pace back and forth before any debate and take the water from that kamandalu, sprinkle it on his head, and drink some of it. And somehow this had some power, this created some power by which he could defeat anyone. It was impossible to defeat him in argument. So Sri Ramakrishna came to know this. Maybe Mother Kali also told him that this is the Pandit's technique for defeating people. So Sri Ramakrishna, one day, he came and took away that towel and the gamcha and the kamandalu. So the Pandit Padmalochan couldn't find it, and he was at a loss where he wouldn't be able to defeat this person. So, but he figured out that it was Sri Ramakrishna who must have taken it. And instead of being angry or at a loss, he began to praise Sri Ramakrishna. He sang stavas in his honor. And Sri Ramakrishna, by that, he took away the power of that, this occult power of the Pandit, and actually he freed him from this ego and this one thing that was keeping him from really being free, from his, that is, this ego kept him from freedom, from spiritual freedom. So actually Sri Ramakrishna was freeing him. In that way, he freed Keshav Chandra Sen of many of his prejudices. And so we find that Sri Ramakrishna freed many of these pandits, and all the knots in their hearts and all their what you may say, whatever prejudices they had, he was able to deprive them of those and make him free. There's also Sri Ramakrishna's encounter with Vijay Goswami, and that is also interesting. You will see through the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna many references, many conversations with Vijay. Vijay still belonged to the Sadharan Brahmo Samaj. He was a paid preacher, but he couldn't obey all the rules of the Brahmo Samaj. He actually mixed with people who believed in gods and goddesses, and the Brahmos didn't regard gods and goddesses. So Sri Ramakrishna actually he supported Vijay in his ideas because he wanted him to. He encouraged him to be free. and not have all these prejudices. He had told him, in fact, that you see the ancient rishis meditated in the forest and they were surrounded by wild beasts, so you don't mind that people try to criticize you and disturb you in this way, that actually you must be strong and don't bother about these people. He advised him to keep holy company, and Vijay would say, "Oh, I don't have time, I have duties at the Samaj, and I don't have time to go and meet holy people." But Sri Ramakrishna encouraged him, and Vijay also had some psychic powers. Vijay had seen Sri Ramakrishna in Dhaka when he was not actually there. He had some psychic power also. But there is an interesting thing about a disciple of a disciple of Vijay Krishna Goswami, and that disciple is that I would like to tell you about is one Satish Chandra Mukherjee. You may have heard of him. Sister Nivedita knew him very well, and with him they started the Dawn Society, actually a Sanskrit school. They taught Vedanta and also Swamiji's ideas. Sister Nivedita taught in that school and wrote many articles for the magazine that Satish Chandra wrote, the magazine actually called The Dawn. And I found many articles of Sister Nivedita in that Dawn magazine. And so Satish Chandra had the idea that the guru should choose the disciple, that he should not choose a guru. But he wanted to have a guru. And one day, someone came to him who was a disciple of Vijay Krishna Goswami and told Satish Chandra that you are to come to take your bath early in the morning and come and take initiation tomorrow morning from Vijay Krishna Goswami. So the Satish Chandra was shocked. He didn't know what to do, didn't sleep the whole night. Next morning, he somehow appeared at the place of Vijay Krishna. And then someone told him, "Oh, you go upstairs and have your initiation." And when he went upstairs, he found Vijay Krishna Goswami is sitting there with an asan next to him, and he sat beside him and told him his mantra. Well, as soon as he heard the mantra, Satish Chandra went into some spiritual state, very blissful state. And when a few moments later, his guru then brought him out of that state, he complained that why did you take me out of that state I was enjoying so much? And the guru told him, "No, you will enjoy that state in the future. This was only a small taste of it." But he told him to go out and stay in Varanasi. So this is quite a digression from the topic that I started. But then when he went to Varanasi, he recognized the Annapurna Mandir, and maybe not the Vishwanath Mandir because it had been destroyed by the Muslims in between. But he realized that he had been in many past births in Varanasi, and so he then lived the rest of his life completely in seclusion in Varanasi, and in complete self-effacement. He didn't ask for anything from anybody, and people gave him things. When money came for him, or food, or whatever he needed, and that's how he became free. But the main topic, I got off the subject a bit, that Sri Ramakrishna was actually freeing the people all through the gospel. All the people that we meet had something that kept them from being free, some idea or prejudice or not that Sri Ramakrishna freed them from. Now, what did I want to tell you? So my question was, why did Sri Ramakrishna seek all these pundits and find out what was the thing that kept them from real freedom? Many of them had just an ego of scholarship, and he would deprive them of that. Somehow he would call them down and make them more humble and free. So this is what I wanted to tell you mainly. I don't. I had some idea of telling you about all the different pundits, but I think that won't be due. I don't. I think all these that I wanted to tell you about, mainly about these pundits, that Sri Ramakrishna had this purpose in meeting them all. That mainly that is what I wanted to say, and I don't think I can say anything else just now. I wondered if there was something that I could tell you about this. I don't know. I feel quite embarrassed that I forgot what else I was going to tell you, and there's still 15 minutes left. I think that you better sing a song, because I lost my idea. Yeah, you have some questions, that would be good.
Anything special about Vidyasagar that we don't know?
No, nobody has a question. I feel really.
What about Vidyasagar? Did he actually change after meeting Sri Ramakrishna? We don't hear much.
Yes, he did, but he didn't actually. Vidyasagar was a bit egotistic. Even I think that Sri Ramakrishna couldn't completely transform him, because when someone asked Vidyasagar why someone was criticizing him, he said, "But I hadn't done anything good for that person." Means Vidyasagar was very active and did a lot of good for people, but he had that ego that people would criticize him and he would feel hurt. So he didn't do it completely without the idea that without this egotistic feeling that he's helping people, and if anybody criticized him, he would feel he would mind it. But Sri Ramakrishna had told him, Vijay, there is gold in your heart, and you don't know it, but when you realize it, your activities will become less and less. I don't know what happened at the end with Vijay. Whether we don't know what happened, if he did realize that gold in his heart and give up the activities. But he was very active and did a lot of good in society for women and for education and helping the poor. But he did have this ego right up to the end, as far as we know. I don't know the rest of Vidyasagar's life, but that's how much we know from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna.
Your reminiscences, some of the reminiscences about the Shraddha Pranaji. Have you seen Bharati Pranaji?
Yes.
About them, if you tell
About Shraddha Pranaji was our second president. She was most reluctant to become president, extremely humble. And I think she was a very great personality, because she was very much concerned about every member and understood every member of the Math. I felt that she could understand me very well, and many other people didn't hesitate to go to her. She would also meditate for a very long time. My room was just above hers, and every time I would come down, I would see her meditating for long hours. But she would, in spite of that, if I went out, she would want to know when I came back. She didn't mind being disturbed, but she would be so concerned about whether I came back in time or had any difficulty. So she always sacrificed herself for other people. She knew all the members very well. She knew people. She was very close to us. Now we don't feel that anymore. So, after her, there's a big gap. She was such a grand personality. What can I tell you about her? There are, I suppose, many incidents when one time I made a garland for her. I always made a big fuss over her on her birthday, and made elaborate gifts and things for her. I would make a card, paint it myself, and all that, and I give her a garland of jasmine. But the last time, unfortunately, she was not so well. So I couldn't give the garland in the morning. And she only, early morning, I bought the garland earlier. So it started to become a little yellowed. And, Amala Pranaji was standing, our general secretary was standing nearby when I wanted to offer it. And she saw that it was becoming old and the garland was not looking so fresh. So she said, don't put it. But Shraddha Pranaji saw her, she said, put it. She was more concerned about my feeling. And she was like that with everything. And she had encouraged me also to write. And it was she who approved that first book that I wrote about Josephine MacLeod. She would give the book to everybody she knew, and she made sure that it was well advertised in all the newspapers when it first came out. Then when there was to be a second edition, she also made sure that that edition would come out. She encouraged me when I wrote the Life of Mrs. Olible and other things. So she was a tremendous support. And if I had to go to the press, she would be sure that somebody would keep some prasad for me when I came back, because I would be going into Calcutta and out the whole day. So she would be sure that I would have something to eat when I came back. One time I had to go to the press on Shivaratri when we were all fasting. And she kept some prasad for me, some fruits for me. She said, oh, you can eat that and still do the puja at night, because it was prasad. So she was very kind and considerate. But having a lot of trouble because of my throat. Same was true of Moksha Pranamataji. Pravrajika Mokshaprana was such a dynamo of spirituality. If she were walking past, you would feel the atmosphere change. She was such a spiritual personality. And also, whenever I had to go out of the mud to stay in any other center, she would insist on my coming before leaving. Again, she would be sure that I would I would come to her just before leaving, even if I were going the next day. And she was so loving and affectionate that she would make me weep every time I had to leave the mud. She was very motherly, and she knew also. She was in tune with her spiritual life. If I had gone on a pilgrimage and had some experience or seen anything unusual, she would know it, and she would ask me about it. So she somehow whether it was by some power or what. She knew and was very encouraging like that. I remember one time when she had some bath water of Sri Ramakrishna. Of course, it was much diluted, but she had kept some bath water that Sri Ramakrishna was bathed in. And she wanted to bless us all by putting some on our heads, some the sannyasinis who were there at that time. And so this we had to go, of course. And I took my bath before that because I felt this is something very sacred. I should take a bath in the Ganga before. So I did. Then she, when she found out by putting her hand on my head when I came back, and she was going to give that water. And she said, "Boy, your hair is wet." And then she found out that I had taken a bath in the Ganga early morning in the dark. And she was very happy about that. So she asked for a towel, and she started drying my hair with her towel. And it's interesting. But it's very difficult to say what encouragement we got from these elder sannyasinis in our spiritual life and in every way. But these reminiscences, they're difficult to say because they're many very personal. One time, though I was in our Delhi center, and Pravrajika Prabuddhaprana was in charge of that center. She was the daughter of K.M. Munshi. She's he who was a governor of, and but she had sacrificed a great deal and was a very ideal sadhu, I would say. In fact, when I joined the Math and I was going to Delhi, I remember Maharaj telling me, "You will learn to be a sadhu, a good sadhu from her." So one time I was I was coming to Delhi actually to see her because I was eventually going to go to Calcutta. But because I couldn't, at the airport, my ticket was, they found my ticket was not directly to Delhi, so I couldn't actually disembark in Delhi. But she was, she felt sympathetic that I would be held up in the airport for so many hours. I telephoned to her to tell her so. They kept me in the transit area with a policewoman watching over me to be sure that I wouldn't leave the airport. And she somehow was able to come into that transit area. She had all kinds of connections in the government, so she was able to come and she brought some food for me and chocolates and whatnot, and so she couldn't get me out of the airport, but at least she came herself and brought some things for me. It was just amazing how she could get inside that transit area. She must have gotten some permission from someone. Then, but this was something, and it was probably the middle of the night also, because I was taking an international flight. it's mainly the sacrifice of these people that is so impressive. That they demonstrate to us this kind of selfless sacrifice for others. I don't know what happened, that I had started to speak about one thing, and then I completely lost the topic. But now it's 12 o'clock. Do we stop here? I'm sorry that I did that. I don't know what happened. No, I wanted to tell something more, but I kind of lost it. Lost it. That how Sri Ramakrishna actually the avatar comes to make people free. That is mainly what the avatar does. If we read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, for each person that he met, each person with whom he converses in the Gospel, we find that he is taking away some knot in their minds. He's untying the knots in their minds. He's freeing them from whatever is there, from wherever they are stuck. And I think that this is the main role of the avatar, that this is why he has come, and he's still doing that, sitting in the hearts of the devotees. He is still making them free, and that is the avatar comes only to free people. How is he making us free? In our hearts. Yeah. Yes. Yes. All of us are stuck somewhere. We're not free. We have some ego, some misunderstanding, some shortcoming, and Sri Ramakrishna is revealing those shortcomings to us gradually. As we grow spiritually, we begin to understand those things. Don't we? Yeah. You're not the same person that you were when you started your spiritual life. You understand much more about yourself. Hard to break the habits? Yes, it's hard to break habits, but you break habits by making other habits. You break bad habits by making good habits. And habits are just formed like that. The more you do something, it becomes a habit. So I feel that Sri Ramakrishna is still working in the hearts of the devotees. And people who have this ideal of Sri Ramakrishna would be much more broad and understanding in these days, where there's so much strife and chaos in the world. And maybe that chaos is, that we see today is coming out because the ocean is being churned, and it's all coming out. At least it's coming out. Before it was all hidden, and nothing could be done about it. If something is hidden, you can't do anything about it. But once it starts coming out and revealing itself, then it can be corrected, and people are rising in protesting and correcting. So it looks to me that all the hatred and prejudice and racial and maybe more racial in this country, and caste differences and all these inequalities of people that are causing friction, and abuse of women, abuse of downtrodden people, whatever. All of these things are now coming into the fore. We are seeing it and protesting against it. Before it was more undercover, it was more hidden, and nobody could do anything about it. You know? Now we admit it. We admit that these things exist. We see it in the newspapers every day. But then people are rising up against it. So the world is changing. And I believe it's changing because of the avatar. Yeah? He has come for that.
We all enjoyed it very much.
No, I'm sorry.
No. Especially these reminiscences, because we don't hear those things. And so many things, especially about Padmalochan, I had never heard before.
Yeah.
And that connection with the Sarada Math.
Sarada Math, yeah.
The same building is still there.
The same building is there. People, the sannyasinis are living in those rooms.
That's fantastic.
In that room where Padmalochan was lying and Sri Ramakrishna came into that room, that room is there.
Wonderful,
So
wonderful.
Sri Ramakrishna came many times in that place.
Yeah.
And it has a different atmosphere, certainly it does.
And we hear that he walked the grounds of Belur Math also.
Yeah.
Well before there was any Belur Math, but that property, because he used to go to the other side to visit that Shiva temple.
But this is some definite
This is
proof, no?
even
This is
yeah,
something
stronger.
definite.
Yeah.
And he would come many times because the Pandit was too ill to go to the Kali temple to meet Sri Ramakrishna, though he did go, but it was difficult for him. So Sri Ramakrishna came to see him. And Sri Ramakrishna loved to talk to him. He said he didn't enjoy talking to anyone else quite so much. And the Pandit, when he was going to die, he knew that his end was coming soon. He at last met Sri Ramakrishna. With tears in his eyes, he took leave of him and went to Varanasi, and very soon after that passed away. But freed from any prejudices he had. He had this pride of scholarship, which Sri Ramakrishna was able to take away. The pride of his tantric powers, Sri Ramakrishna took that away. And he did that for everyone, and everyone he met. If you read the gospel from that point of view, you can understand that that's what he was doing for each person. Making them free. And I feel that he's continuing to do that. Sitting in your hearts, he is continuing to do that. He hasn't gone anywhere. No, he's here.
So anyhow, our great thanks to Mataji. She'll be here off and on for some time. You'll get another chance to hear her. And now
I'll prepare a proper talk.
everyone is invited to lunch today. We have, in honor of Mataji, we have lunch for everyone in the basement. You'll get a chance to meet her at that time also. So I'll close with the chant. Om sarve bhavantu sukhina sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om tat sat. May all beings be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize only good things in life. May no one suffer from misery. Om peace, peace, peace be unto all.